So we meet Shalewa in this film, played by Zainab Balogun. She's pregnant, and someone wants to kill her. And yet, for some reason, Shalewa is not getting into all-out self-defense mode, life preservation mode, if not for anything, for her unborn child. I want to say it can never be me, but there's many things about this that already proves it can never be me. So I won't say it. I can't risk being cancelled. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing Landline, the latest film by Gabriel. Now, Landline is a time loop story. Typically, time loop stories are fantastical. They often are sci-fi-ish, but if there's something Nollywood has taught me in recent time is that we are seeing a lot of time loop stories and probably will continue to see more, but so far, none of them are exactly sci-fi-ish. Many come to mind. Well, not many. I think I still count them on one hand. But there is Japa, there is Day of Destiny, there is The Beat, also starring Zainab Balogun, and now Landline. Landline is currently available to stream on Prime Video, and as such, yeah, this review will contain spoilers. So yeah, let's get into the video. Landline is about this couple played by Gabriel Afolayan and Zainab Balogun, Kola and Shalewa respectively. Both of them are, we get the sense that they are a new couple. I see no other kid around, but we don't get much of a backstory about them. And so that leaves a lot of things open to our interpretation. And Kola is away in a safe house and Shalewa is all alone in this mighty big house. When I watched the trailer and I did my trailer reaction video, I inferred, well, this is not a secret, it's an open thing. If you hear safe house, you are thinking this person is an informant or a witness to a case and has been tucked away for safety up until that the court proceedings, finish up. Or this person is the main issue, but whatever the case, a safe house, like the name implies, you are kept away for safety, for your own safety or for the safety of others, but mostly for your own safety. So Kola is in a safe house, Shalewa is at home, and for some reason, someone shows up at the door wanting to kill Shalewa. In fact, this person succeeds multiple times, at least 8 times going by Kola's count, at least 8 times. What we then are thrust into very quickly in the film is, why is this person coming after Shalewa? And what does Kola have to do with it? Now, the film tries to provide some answers, and yeah, for the most part, I applaud it. First of all, I applaud the premise. I am a big fan of time loop stories. If you go from the very popular one, Groundhog Day, it's a very interesting premise that just gives room for a very interesting and captivating story. And on that, I think Landline tries as much as it can to lend, its voice to the genre. And it's not so bad. One of the things I really liked about the film was how it did its time loop stops. So, there is, for every time loop film, there is a start point. End point can be, well, there's usually an end point as well. For this film, the end point is Shalewa's death. Once Shalewa is killed and the landline rings, restarts. So that is established. And there was something it did about how we get started every time. We are not exactly forced to relive the exact same scenario. Shalewa is shot, Shalewa wakes up. We're not, the film tries to do something different there. Sometimes we get the scene started from Kola's perspective. Sometimes the Shalewa is caught up to speed quickly behind the scenes, and then we see her in maybe let's say in loop 4, for example, she dies in the kitchen. Loop 5 sort of smartly starts with her trying to just jump straight either past the kitchen, something. So it tried its best to do something creative with that, and I applaud it. But the thing, Landline, that holds it back the most is its very premise, the same premise I liked. Because at the end of the day, time loop or not, it's still a story, and a story has to make sense. You open us to a world. Things have to come full circle and make sense. Yeah. Landline left me being confused. I won't lie. I'm trying to put this as nicely as I can, but it left me feeling confused because it just couldn't exactly polish its own mythology. Now, a film is called Landline, which is the case here. You'd expect that this landline would be very prominent or very important to the narrative. And to an extent, it's not. Let me just, it's not. Or at least I did not understand it to be. At the most part, the landline, the titular landline felt like a MacGuffin. It just felt like something that existed to establish a plot, but it wasn't, you know, for starters, how the landline even got introduced to the story was confusing. Ola goes to bed, wakes up, sees a landline that wasn't there, and is not panicked that someone broke into the house, the safe house, while he was sleeping. The film doesn't even make a case for that. And all of a sudden, a landline that is not connected, even though I didn't even get the visual sense that landline was not connected up until Kola sees it himself. And it's a theme. But the landline wasn't exactly useful to the narrative. In fact, this whole story we got could have easily played out without that landline. It could have been Kola's cell phone, which for some reason Kola's cell phone kept ringing multiple times throughout the film, and I was confused at times to know, is it this ring I'm hearing now, is it from Kola's phone or from the landline? While the ringtones were distinct, while the film was playing out, I was actually confused more often than not. That what exactly is the mythology here? What is going on? Who is talking to Kola on the phone at this point? It's I'm sure on multiple watches, some of these things might get clearer, but in the moment, it leaves you feeling a lot of confusion. It's not a good place that a film wants one to feel. So yeah, this just made me feel at the end of the day, why was this film called Landline? Because there was nothing about the landline that justified the title, if I'm being honest. You know, um, and yeah, I just left feeling a lot of questions. We were told the reason why Shalewa was being killed, but yeah, that just opened up a whole new kind of worms with Kola's work. And it did not help that we couldn't exactly see, what was happening with Kola's. The most we got of Kola's job. Kola is a soldier, so the most of what we got from his relationship with the military was hearsay. What we heard him and the other guy at the other end of the phone who was trying to help out, that's most we could piece together. And his calls with the superior. We were given a backlog of information dump, and let's just say it felt like a dump. I not rewinded to try to understand what was being said, but for the life of me, it didn't work. I'm sorry once again, which just didn't work. The information dump was just too much. It was too much. It felt like my brain trying to process a trailer load of information, and because the story itself wasn't exactly compelling. Now, not to say the mystery was compelling at the point, and the truth was I quickly fizzled out. That feeling that it had on me at first fizzled out. But the way the story was trying to line up its answers wasn't working. Who was the other guy on the other end? Who was he? The person trying to help Kola. At the point, I even thought maybe this guy could be Kola from the future, and I was a lot of excited for the possibility that for some reason we are cracking sci-fi time travel and trying to make it grounded. But it's up in flames because we're not given an answer. We're not given an answer to that. We're not given an answer to why Kola's bosses, an actual answer apart from what the info dump tried to make us just swallow, as why Kola's bosses would leave Kola, whom they have in a safe house, and go after his pregnant wife. I'm not even going to talk about the fact that Kola left his pregnant wife all alone in a large house where his father and mother exist. And his wife is close to delivery. I'm not going to talk about that, But so many actual questions that the film itself opened wasn't addressed. And yeah, I just left Landline feeling underwhelmed, if I'm being honest. I like the premise. I like the world. No, the visuals are good, actually. The lighting, the cinematography, the camera work, camera movements, they were good. It was a good premise. When the film starts, it starts with promise. And I mean, when you have Zainab, Balogun, and Gabriel Afolayan, you are inspired to want to know what's happening because these are two fine actors. And in this film, for the most part, they are fine. Even when the writing starts to, fail, they are fine. So what the film sets up these large questions, many questions, and is unable to answer every one of them. And I don't know that ending. Is it for me to want to hope or clamor for a sequel? Because honestly, I don't think I want to see a Landline Part 2. I don't think I want to, because this first one just did not deliver on all the promises it had. And it did have a lot of promise, if I'm being honest. It did. I don't think it's a bad film. If it were in cinemas, I probably would say save your money and wait for it to come to streaming. But it's already on Prime Video, so yeah, go ahead and see it. But I would also be surprised if some people like it. And I wouldn't be surprised if some people absolutely hate it. I am somewhere in the middle because I see the promise. I see what the filmmakers were trying to go for. I see it. I sort of see the vision. But does it get there? It doesn't. I absolutely know that it did not get there, at least for me. But then let me know in the comments, did it do it for you? Perhaps my own bars are too high at this point, and maybe I need to recalibrate my meter. But if it did do it for you, let me know. And yeah. Yes, it's just another one that bites the dust. So yeah, that's my Landline review in not so nutshell. But yeah, it's just let me know in the comments. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.